Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a good day. If you are tuning in from the US, I wish you a very pleasant evening or night, depending where you're at. And really, what today is about is saving you as much time as possible. So let's get right to it and show how you can plan with Power Tools. This particular tool is about helping you to plan for vocabulary. So what the tool does is it provides you with a number of resources that will help you with your planning and will help your students develop better documents. So the first thing is we have a tool called a difficulty guide. What this does, it provides a quick summary of the document. You can copy, paste, assess, and you can do that in 30 seconds. And really, this tool is about you deciding if you want to use this document or in your lessons. If you say, whoa, this is way beyond the level of the students, then what you can do is say, perhaps I find something else. Perhaps I find another document. Also, it shows you how long a student might take to read it. This is based on the average child, but I'm sure after you used it a few times, you will know how far out it might be. And it also shows you likely problem areas. The next tool is really useful because it allows you to highlight low frequency words. So you can see in this example here, the low frequency words have been highlighted. Again, you can do a quick scan and decide if that's going to be okay for your students and which words you might need to pre-teach. So highlight to simplify. The next one is really useful. You can add a low frequency word table. What this does is it creates a low frequency word table and links to the dictionary. You can also add your own notes if there's something that you think students would want to have a special attachment to, or they can make notes so that it improves their understanding. The final one is really useful for planning itself because you can create a sheet with the low frequency words. It creates the sheet for you, and then you can see all of those details. I'm sure if you're being observed in a lesson, this is going to be incredible that you can see exactly all the low frequency words ahead of time and bring that discussion up. So let's have a look at an individual word. In this case, the word battered. It's not something every student would work, and it's got two purposes. So something to really think about. So you've got the definition. You've then also got other words from thesaurus. You've got the image, and you've got the engram. I'll talk a little bit later after the engrams if you're interested. So everything you need to teach a word. Right, I'm going to leave this up there for a few seconds and I'll check the chat so we can start our live demo. Okay, let's see. Good, great to see so many people involved. Hi, everyone. Okay, so I am just link in 1 second. I'll pop this in a comment. This is the website that everybody needs to head to. So I hope you can all do that in a second. Okay, let's get the banner up. We always like a banner so that you know where we're heading to. Okay, got to give people a few minutes to get on. Great to see so many people. Love it. Hong Kong, Indonesia. Fantastic. I think I've got somebody from the US as well by the looks of things. Fantastic. Oh, California. Brilliant. I think I've actually got 2 people from the US, even better. And New Zealand. Wow, I'm covering the whole world. Very good. Okay, so please do go to this site and we'll start the live demo in just 30 seconds. Excellent. I love Hong Kong. It's such a wonderful city. Yeah, one of my favorite holidays. Mind you, by Hong Kong standards, when I visited, it was around Chinese New Year and it was considered very cold. 10 degrees, which You know, by English standards, it's pretty warm, but by Hong Kong standards, everybody thought it was freezing cold. Indonesia, fantastic. So, right, okay. Here's hoping that we are good. Okay, and I'm going to do an absolutely live demo here so that you can see exactly how this works. So this is the website, the support website. So you've got everything you need here, some guides to what's going on, a quick demo video there. If you want to encourage staff at a professional development meeting, feel free to use the video as an intro. So here we go, open the beta, make a copy. We're doing this absolutely live, so what you're seeing is the time it takes for in reality. Obviously, it does depend a little bit on your connection. Now, most of the instructions are right here. So what I'm doing, you can actually follow in this video here. So that little GIF here will help you to follow these steps. Okay, and please don't worry about things. These instructions are all available in other places, but if you want to have a read through first, that's great. Good, right, so the Reading Power Tools has loaded. You'll notice that it's appeared here. And normally what I do is go to About RDPT because we need to ask for some permissions. Okay, click on here. So you need to put your account in. Yes, it hasn't been verified by Google because we're still in beta and I haven't paid the money yet to get it verified. So we do go to Difficulty Power Tools. Yeah. And as I say, these are the permissions and these are the absolute minimum permissions. I do not take any data in whatsoever. These are the permissions from Google. Okay. I would stress, if you are more technically minded, this is open source, so you can double check what is going on. Once I have done that, you can see now that the tools are available. Let's pull the difficulty guide up. And you'll see this unaided reading age for this is 16 to 18. Hopefully everybody here using this is actually an adult, so that shouldn't be causing any problems. But these are just the instructions and a few of the details about the thing. Once you've used the tools, you can just delete all of that. It is available for you in the About RDPT and also on the website if you need to look. So about the app, it's all there for you and you can just click on this and see the details. So don't feel you need to worry about it. But if you do want it back, of course, you can go back to the website, make another copy. Once you've made this copy, what I tend to call this is RDPT main doc. What I advise people to do is just copy and paste things in here and then copy and paste it when you're out because the students don't need access to these tools. So here's one I made earlier. And I think this is a good choice because this is something with some difficult vocabulary, but it's also something we really want to teach. Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech, I Have a Dream, an amazing piece, but it's not without its difficult vocabulary. And you don't want to destroy the richness of this vocabulary. So let's start by having a look at the difficulty guide for this. Okay, so firstly, if you are into your vocab tools and you're into the more linguistics, all of the linguistic details are here for you. So you can have a nice little look there. The vocabulary difficulty is largely good, but you'll notice that these difficult words, that means that the unaided reading age comes from 14 to 16. I stress unaided. That means if a student is given to have a full understanding of that text, the average child will be 14 to 16. We're thinking that this might be 12 minutes, 10 minutes for an adult. And here are some of the challenging vocab highlights. So a few of the words that we think might be challenging. Okay, obviously this is an amazing speech and I definitely want to teach it. So the first thing I'm going to do is add a low frequency word table. Okay, so here we go. These are all the low frequency words and already we've helped. for some of these, you think, oh, you know what, that's not too bad. But you can just look it up in the dictionary. So if a student is finding that difficult, they can look that word up in the dictionary. But if there are words here that you are concerned about, then that might be something you'd want to add a few notes about to give a little bit more context and help. And as I say, this table has been made for you. You can do what you like with it. Now, what you can also do is you can highlight those words. Now, this is a document I really wouldn't want to edit particularly, but what it does is it tells your students these are words we expect you to find difficult or you might find difficult, and they will be at the bottom. Okay, so you can have a look at that. You can leave that in or you can take it out. Now, you might be getting an observation at this point, or you might want to do some further planning. And this is really where we have two choices. You can create a sheet with the low frequency words, or you can create a sheet with all of the words. And if you are going to be doing much more English kind of analysis, linguistics, then this might be the usual option. But I'm going to pick this option, the low frequency, because that's, if you're teaching English as a second language, I would imagine that's what you're going to do. So my spreadsheet is ready. I click on the Your Google Sheet, and you can see it has created all of these words, the synonyms, images, and engrams. And again, you can just copy and paste these here. The filter is already there for you so that you can choose how you want to do it, and you can filter the words out that you want. You can even put in an extra thing here, difficult words that you think are genuinely difficult or challenging. Maybe we could use the word challenging words. And as I say, it's a full spreadsheet. You can then copy and paste it into your planning. And I think anybody who's observing your lesson or seeing your planning would be very impressed with the amount of work that you've done on that. Okay, so those are the key ones there. All right, at this point, I'm going to just stop for a minute or two and check on the questions. Okay, I'm very sorry. That's terrible. That's the problem when I'm presenting on my own. I think I've hit a big problem. Sorry, everybody. Oh, sorry. I think the presentation's gone a bit wrong there. Let me check. I think it didn't move to the tabs. Okay, let me reshare. Let's have a look. Okay. Oh, it didn't move. Dear. Okay. Let me. Yeah. Okay. I see what's happened there. Okay. Yeah. I see. Oops. I shared the tab. I'm realizing what's happened now. Normally I have somebody with me to check. I did put a call out, but unfortunately it was a bit early. Okay, so let me make sure it's on the right one. I'm really sorry, everybody. Okay, let's check. Good job I came back to check. No. Okay, let's reshare it. When it made the new tab, it obviously didn't follow. Let's check. Okay, make a copy. I am very, very sorry, everybody. I'm just checking to see if that's doing it now. I'm going to have to roll back. I'm very sorry for everybody there. Let me go back and check on that. Yeah, everybody has these difficulties. Okay, here we go. Okay, can you let me know in the comments if you can see the document now? I'm going to wait this time. I'm glad you've stuck with me, not been too patient. I haven't lost my entire audience. Okay. Let me check. I'll give everybody a second or two. Sorry about that. Okay, let me go back. Right, okay. So I'm very sorry about that you didn't see what was going on. So we'll do it gently again. So reading power tools, you click on About RDPT, and what we do is click Continue. I don't know if you can see this part, but you do have to click that the app isn't verified, and from there go to Reading Tools Unsafe and allow it. And that's because it is a beta. I haven't paid the money yet. Okay, so hopefully the tools are there. Okay, good. All right. So now what I can do is I can pull in some text and do some real analysis. But just while we have a little go, have a look at the difficulty guide. And here we go. So we can see that my instructions are aimed at 16 to 18-year-olds, which is obviously real because I'm aiming it at teachers. So that's the expectation there. These challenging vocab, I've been through this quite a lot of times. All of it is important legalese that I expect to be in there. The bit about the open source license and quite a few names and things in there. So there we go. Now, once you've got your tools running, you can make as many copies of this as you like. What I normally do is I just delete all those instructions once I've read them, and I make this my area. So this is my new working area. And this is where I, as a teacher, go through and check what's going on. Now, the speech I normally use is I have a dream, because it's an important speech and it's got some challenging vocab, but it's rich language you don't want to change. So let's have a look at it right now and see how the difficulty guide goes. Okay, so here we go. These are some of the difficulty words. A lot of it is beginner vocabulary, but you can see there's quite a bit of intermediate, upper intermediate, and the difficulty words is what's raising that unaided reading age to 14 to 18. So you can see that okay there. And you can see it would take about 12 minutes for a grade 4 child. And this is based on reading length. And here are some of the challenging vocab highlights. Now, there are a few options that I can do with this. One of the first options that I would do is I would see where those low frequency words are. And what we do here is we have a look, because some of these words you might be able to guess by context. Some students might be okay. Sometimes you see things like this, where perhaps things are not quite as you did. Color might be a challenge. It is based on a British dictionary, so that might be one I'd have to look at. And there does seem to be a slight issue with the wording there, but there you go. So this gives you a fairly good idea of what's going on. We unhighlight this if we want to, but if you want to leave it highlighted, you can. And then what we're going to do is create a low frequency word table. Now, in many cases, if you're just going to hand this document out, particularly if you're doing it via distance learning, that might be all you might want to do. And again, there might be words your students have already been taught. So this is fully editable. If you've taught that word recently, you can just delete it and just work your way through things. Okay, so that's one option. Another option for your own planning is you might want to keep something. So we can create a sheet with a low frequency, and that's going to tell you all those difficult words that are going to come up, so that before your lesson, you know exactly what's going to come up, and you can pre-teach any of those difficult words. And for each of those difficult words, you get the definition, the synonyms, the images, and the n-gram. I think the n-gram is really important if you're teaching English as a second language, because it tells you how important it is for this word to actually be taught. So the word Alabama, as you can see, very, very high word. Okay. And so these are the main tools that you'd like to have a look at. If alternatively you want every single word, you can do a create sheet and create the full sheet. I'm going to double check again, make sure everything is working according to plan. Okay, good. I can see myself and I can see what's going on. Excellent. Okay, so Hopefully you can actually click on that and have a go. Please do that now. Have a go. Let me know in the questions if you're able to do that and follow through. So the key thing here is the RDPT. I am going to talk a little bit about the research and everything behind, and I would stress this is a beta. I have been working on this pretty hard to get it up to a stage. I would say it's very usable right now, but there are a few rough edges where things aren't quite perfect. But even so, people have been saying that for an English teacher or an EFL teacher, it's probably saving them 30 hours per year in terms of things. So I'm going to stop that share and just take you through a little bit of the research behind, so you know I'm not just selling you some random things. And I would stress that in a previous life, okay, in a previous life, I was an EFL teacher, so EFL, I guess that's it. So yeah, it is research based, and I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about the research involved. So the first thing is that I fully support the Freya model. There are many models, but the Freya is one of my favorites, but also it shows how you can really teach every single aspect of the word using these tools. Firstly, you do get a definition, which is a student-friendly description of the term. That comes from the dictionary. And then examples are all there for you, and concrete applications, relevant illustrations. So between the dictionary definition and the thesaurus, you've got all of that. You've also got the characteristics, which you can either do from the definition or you can do from an image. And then non-examples, so the antonyms are all there as well. And applications are relevant illustrations that do not fit the mold here. So those are things you can do. So here you go. You can see how these things have been generated, and they can all be generated from the details given. Now, as I say, you might not want to do this for every single word, but for the really important words, this might be how you would go about it. Reading ages. Now, a lot of people know the older models from the 1950s. There are a couple of models that I use. The Coleman Liao reading age, and that's used because it's better for computer-based text. Other texts work on syllables. I do have some measurements for them, but they're not as good. And then the Dale-Chul readability, that is by far the best because that's context aware. It knows which words are difficult. And that's really where most of the programming went in, was to make those word lists and make it context aware. And that's why some people are quite shocked when they look at reading ages, but when they realize the amount of difficult words, they suddenly say, ah, yes, it's an unaided reading age. And that reading age is the age you should confidently expect the average US child to read a piece of text without any help. And it is based on those two pieces of research. For younger children, pay more attention to the vocabulary difficulty chart. So yes, you could definitely use it with elementary or primary children, but what you should be doing is, rather than using those reading ages, which generally work from 11 onwards, use the beginner, elementary, and intermediates to give yourself a really good indication of those difficult words. Love stats. I'm not hiding those stats from you. If you are interested in linguistics, all you have to do is click the square and do it. But when I made the very first version of this, a lot of people said they weren't that interested. They wanted to know what actions could be taken and what they needed to do. So hopefully this guides you and does this. The Ngram. This is a great guide, useful guide to seeing how word use has changed over time. However, it is not weighted by popularity. So Harry Potter gets the same weighting as an obscure electronics manual or statute, just because every time the word is mentioned in those documents, that's what happens. And as I say, it's a good idea to give you an idea. One of my favorite examples is photocopy versus photostat. In Indonesia and Malaysia, photostat is still used quite a lot, particularly in Malaysia, I think. Whereas in British English, photocopy became much, much more popular in the 1960s, which is not a big surprise because that's when the British influence left Malaysia. Okay, now, if that weren't quite enough for you and you feel 30 hours isn't quite enough, here's a few of my other favorite little extensions that I feel you should know about because they really help. One is Read Aloud extension. This does what it says. It reads things aloud for you. Really helpful. for those people, because the added decoding, reading, and everything else, if person's verbal English is better, then this is very helpful. Print friendly is very good. What this tool does is it strips out all the adverts and everything like that. Good place to start, and it makes a little PDF for you. So again, very useful if you're trying to get that realia. And finally, an OCR has been improved somewhat. It is built into Drive. All you have to do is open with Google Docs, and it has a decent go. But what's nice about it is it leaves the image at the top, and then it puts the text below. So thank you very much for saving your time. Okay, exit. And as I say, yeah, I'm only using very basic Google technologies here. So there's absolutely nothing that will seriously crash anything but Chrome. And the whole point is really, I'm saying use a template. Once you copy and paste it out there, the document does nothing other than what Google Docs normally does. And as I say, for a beta, it's fairly mature. It's getting a lot of usage, and I'm not getting any crash reports. So I'm very pleased with that, that it's working okay so far. So thank you very much, everybody, for listening. Any questions, I'll hang around for the next 5 minutes and go through there. Yeah, I'm always worried about live demos. That's always the scary bit for me. And as I say, so far I've been pretty good, but I'd forgotten in StreamYard, if you share your tab, you move to another tab, you're in things. So yeah, and I say it's all free and open source. One question I do get asked a lot is, can you do it for other languages? Yes, if you're prepared to change the source code, because I don't have the language skills in other languages to develop the word lists. So I'm very happy to show you the source and take you through it. So if anybody has a modicum of coding and is able to do it in another language, I'd be very happy to share and do it. How long have I had this running? This has been a lockdown project. So this started in April when I discovered my old word lists, which were about 10, 15 years old. And I was about to, I was going to do some research and publish a paper, never got around to it, but I still had the word list. And I thought, you know what? Something that Google Docs really needs is tools to help EAL teachers. And so in my lockdown time, rather than get bored, I got programming and got on with that. So in terms of how long have the word list been around? About 15 years, although over the summer, it's got a lot of improvements. In terms of how the coding time, yeah, it was about April, Easter time, last Easter. So yeah, that's what happened. And as I say, it is the word list that makes the tool work or not work. And that's the bit I'm constantly trying to work on and improve. Basically, the more text we throw at it, the more I can improve those word lists. So there we go. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. I really appreciate it. If you've got questions after this broadcast is finished, I will, of course, keep an eye on the Twitter hashtag. And please, my last thing that I want to share with you is, are you ready for the drum roll? Even though this has been an absolutely fantastic experience and I've really enjoyed watching this, this is by far the only session going. So, and they are in multiple languages, but I do want to share the English because I'm assuming you're going on there. So please do join in the other sessions. There have been some awesome sessions already, and they're all recorded on YouTube, so you can go back, including one of my personal highlights was somebody got their daughter to actually do the Ask Any Questions. And I tell you what, it sounded a lot better from her than from us. Unfortunately, my children were not up for that in any way, shape or form. So that's that. And I was also very impressed with the subtitling tools we saw yesterday. And we've seen a lot of great slides tools and tools to really up your Google Forms and quizzing games, which is fantastic. And later today, if you haven't used Pear Deck before, please tune into that because it's going to be essential. And out of Monaco, we've got a couple of amazing sessions on Google Sites and everything. So please do check in on all of those. If you do speak another language, Adriana, I'm sure, knows the main link to the GEG website. I'm sure she can't wait to tell me. Captioning today was via Google Slides, so that's why we got it for part of it and the other part. But the other captioning tool looks amazing. I just didn't want to try too much at once. So yes, all looking really good, and yeah, I hope we enjoy that. Okay, so the hashtag is, what is the hashtag? I should know that. I think it's something very simple like GEG APAC. Yes, it is something very simple. So the hashtag is GEG APAC. I suspect you all know this and that's how you came in, but just in case somebody's come in from another source, please use that. That's a great way to contact. Thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy your Saturday or Friday evening. Bye-bye.